Yo, I got a 2005 Ford 500 in here, and the power steering kind of works. Sort of does, sort of doesn't. The fluid's super black in here. I'm going to replace the pump. First thing I'm going to want to do is make a little coolant mess. I got to get the reservoir out of here. I figure the easiest way to do it would be take this hose off right here. Of course, I got a drain pan down on the ground. Get this hoser off. Millimeter bolts on this reservoir. One of them's right here. And I got another one that's hiding back here. There's a slot right here. You got to push it forward that way. And then it comes out of the hole. And then if I'm lucky, I can get this out of here. Oh, I got a sensor here too. I got to unplug. Now I got a fancy belt tool to get this belt off. It's basically just a 3/8 inch square. Just going to push it out of the way. Now this is where things can get messy on this job. You got two options. Either drain all the fluid out of here to make less of a mess, or don't and make a bigger mess. Any way you look at it, you're going to make a mess. I got a brake sucker thingamajigger. I'm going to suck all this out of here as much as I can. Now I got this emptied out, I'm going to turn the wheel to the right and the left a whole bunch to try to pump as much fluid into this reservoir as I can so I can suck it out. I'm actually getting quite a bit out this way. There's a couple 10mm bolts on this reservoir I'm taking off. Pry that out of the way. That might take some muscles if you got any. I got a clamp on this reservoir I'm taking off. I'm going to remove this reservoir. You probably don't need to, but it looks like it's going to be easier for me if I do. There's this goofy wire loom here. It's got some 8mm on it. That way I can kind of pull this up and just have just a little bit more room. And I got this 18mm here. These usually aren't very tight, and this one is not either. If it's a little too tight, you can always put, I don't know, I think that's a 21mm below it. There's some goofy little bracket back here I'm going to pop off. That's for the pressure line. There's bracket for the power steering reservoir. There's the power steering line bracket on here. I'm going to take this out so I got a little more room. 8mm for that. Now my power steering line's flopping in the breeze. There's a 10mm right here. Then I can get this bracket out of here. I put a little cap on here too so it doesn't leak all over the place. These are 13mm bolts. The last nut. Okay, I got all three of those out. Now this thing should be loose. And I can kind of pull it out of the way. Get the pressure line out of my way. I'm going to try to squirrel it out this way with the reservoir. The reason why I tried to sneak this reservoir out, the reason why I tried to take the reservoir out with the pump is because Ford's colossally stupid clamps were in a really bad spot, and the way they make these is it's got a little pin that goes in this hole, so when it's loaded all they got to do is just snap it and then it closes, but they don't take into consideration the technician that's got to take this crap off. So when you try to squeeze this, it doesn't unclamp enough unless you can get this stupid thing in the stupid hole, which when it's in the car it can be a real big pain in the butt. I mean, I wasn't about to fight this crap in the car because these clamps are so stupid. I can't stand them. They're just dumb. But anyways, so I got that clamp off. This is going to make a mess all over. I can tell right now. Mess. Now when you get one of these colossally stupid clamps off, don't even try to put it back on. Don't even try to put it back in this hole. You try to stick it back in this hole and it'll probably just fly across the room, bounce off the wall, and poke you in the friggin' eye. These things are dangerous. Believe it or not. I'm just going to put a regular hose clamp on it. I got an 18mm. I got to take this off. Jesus, man. I just emptied this thing. Okay, that's going in the vise. You got neoprene wash seals in here that are really goofy. Should come with a pump. Okay, now I'm going to have to get this pulley off. I got a snap-on puller set because they're really super nice. If you don't have a pulley puller, you're going to have to rent one from a parts store. It's going to be a little different, a little cheesier, but they should work. Just got to hold on to this and put a 13mm on here. There it is, the Ford junk is off. Now I can take this to the parts store for a core. I almost called this a bad name. I got my remanufactured power steering pump. I got this installer. It's threaded. You got to screw it into this shaft. Like so. I can see the taper in there, and this is almost flush with the taper. It's in just a little bit more, so that should be about right. I want to get this plug out of here. That's fun. It's still got nylon stuck in the threads from the last time it was in something. That's a really promising thing right there, seeing stuff like this in a remanufactured part. Look at this. Nice, huh? Yeah, and that's remanufactured. Am I supposed to believe this? Frickin' hacks. This thing better work. They give you the little nylon washer with this. It only came with one, so I had to get another one for this side, and it's a hair small, but you can stretch these a little bit. Get that nice and tight so that nylon crushes all goofy and stupid. And this is made to turn. I put a block of wood under the oil pan and jacked it up as much as I could in the front without getting all carried away. And it goes in a lot easier that way. I'm just putting the nut in the socket and I'm starting it that way. Now I can let my jack down. As you can see, when it went down, it probably gave me half an inch. I'm going to try to put my belt on next. Make sure everything's lined up, and it is. I got to put another neoprene washer on here. I got to take this one off. I could actually reuse this, I think. It looks pretty good. I'm just turning it and making sure it's not twisted up. They like to twist sometimes. I'm going to get a 21mm on here and try to get this a little tighter than it was before. You're supposed to use Mercon transmission fluid for this, and before I just plug it in and start making it work, I'm going to try to pump some more of this old fluid out. And the way I did it, this is the return line that goes in the reservoir. I blocked off the reservoir and I ran a return line into a jug. I'm just going to fill this up and I'm going to run the car and I'm going to turn the wheel from lock to lock. And that should pump a lot of this out. I'm just going to fill it up once. And hopefully stuff doesn't blow up and go all over the place. It'll be fun for you to watch if it does. Yeah, major mess. Nice. Well, that must have been fun for you. My little screw popped out of here. I didn't think it would. Crazy. I'm going to put a zip tie around this. I already emptied it out. Try to get the rest of this out of here. Clean enough. Well, I made a colossal mess, but the system should be nice and clean. I'll fill it all the way up to the top again. I'll probably have to fill it twice. Okay, there's still gobs of air in the system, and what you want to do is go all the way from lock to lock. It'll make all kinds of crazy noise. And you want to hold the wheel to lock and turn the key off. And you want to hold it there for a good 20-30 seconds. You got the highest amount of pressure when it's all the way to lock, and then when you turn the key off, it'll just start pushing out all kinds of bubbles up onto the reservoir. You just keep doing that until the noise is all gone. It'll still make a little noise because there's a gazillion little bubbles in the system, and after you do this like 3 or 4 times, you can just leave it sit and a lot of them bubbles will come out, and just keep working it, and that noise should go away and everything should be fine. Okay, bye.